Hello and welcome back to my build series. Today we're going to work on the water system. So the water system is going to be these two tanks back there, so freshwater and a greywater tank. I'm going to install a tap, water pump, a bunch of small things to connect things to each other, some hose, and then some other hose thing for the greywater. The sink is already in the countertop, not installed, but it already sits there. Yeah, let's just maybe install the tap.
I've been living in my 1979 Mercedes camper for 2 years now. I love that van, but it was itching me to do my own conversion. Alone and without any experience, I sold my old van and started my very own van build.
I just wanted to show this to you really quickly. They will go in here and they fit in there perfectly. And what's also great about them is this thing. The size of this opening is great because my whole arm fits in there. That means I can clean them out if they're a little bit dirty. They're 22 liters each, and I will have one for freshwater and one for greywater. And I have another one in the back, so a third one just for a backup as a freshwater tank. So first of all, I need to know where I can drill the hole for the tap. So in order to do that, I'm going to attach all of these plasticky things that came with the sink to the sink, so I know where I have some space and where I don't. So we've got this and that thing and this piece. Oh, and then that thing. A friend of mine already gave me stuff like this. You can attach this to the bottom of your sink so that it is much more quiet. I already attached this though, so when I'm knocking this is really quiet. It used to be quite a lot and used to be really loud. So this is usually what this is for. Oh well. So let's start with this thing. So I want to put the tap here, but in order to know where I have the space for it, I need to first attach this piece of plastic, but I think it's not taking away too much space, it's quite slim. Alright, let's do this first. Okay, so everything's wired up now. The pump here is wired in together with this switch that's up there. Freshwater line is connected to the pump. Then from the pump, the freshwater goes into the tap up there. And then from the tap, obviously, it can go into the sink. And then from the sink back down into this canister. So the water cycle should work, theoretically. It's just time to test this. I hope that there are no leaks, and I hope the vibrations don't cause these clamps to open up, because that's something that I heard can happen. But for now, I'm actually quite optimistic of how this will work. So yeah, let's get this one filled up so I can test my water cycle. So there's some water in this tank now, and just to be sure, I brought a towel, just in case there are any leaks, which might be the case. Now, the lid already had this hole in here. For now it fits in there nicely, so I can just take this hose thingy, make sure it's submerged in the water, which it is. kind of. So everything's connected, so actually the pump should just work. So let's see if something happens when I flip this switch. Ooh! There's the first leak. So it's kind of hard to show you, but it was leaking here. And you can already still see the water. And then up there where the hose goes into the tap. And I tightened down the screws now a little bit better, and hopefully it'll work better this time. So, hey, water! And it splashes. Oh my god, that's awesome! Oh, okay, how's it looking down there when I put on the? It's so cool. It's just magic, you know, you just flip the switch, there comes the water. I mean, that's something we have every day in our house. It's something so normal that there's water coming out of a tap, but this, for some reason, me doing this here in the van is just, it's like magic achieving this. That's awesome. I mean, really, it's a super simple setup with these two containers and just a tiny little pump. That's really it. It's so simple, but I'm so happy that it just works. Wasn't too bad. I mean, I had leaks at the beginning, but that was really my fault because I didn't tighten the screws good enough. So really, that was my fault. But apart from that, it just works. That's crazy. Now, I'm wondering what happens if I close down the tap and then I switch on the pump. So the tap is closed now. And now I'm gonna switch on the pump and see if it leaks or what happens. Oh, that's awesome! It is maintaining the pressure. And now it should do something when I'm opening the tap. Magic! So in order to get the hose through the lids of the water containers, we need to drill in holes into these sealing bits. This one is just a thing that screws it on and applies the pressure. Luckily there is already a hole here where this fits through perfectly, but we need to make another one here because this, obviously this is good and this doesn't have a hole because otherwise there would be water coming out of this. But from my hose I'm going to make a hole into this lid so that this fits right in here. And then I'll seal it up and glue it to the actual hose. And on this part here I also need to make a hole where this part, that's the end piece of the sink, where this sink piece goes into. Let's start with a small one. Ow! I guess I should attach this piece a little bit better. The hole. Let's work on the bigger hole. So those two both need the bigger hole. This here is obviously bigger. I need to get this whole big piece through here and to the other one. So let's start with this one, I would say. So that should theoretically work now. Let's see if it actually works on the water tanks. Yeah, that totally works. What about this one? Nice, that works really well. So there is a lot of pressure in this tank now that I removed a lot of the water. So I might have to drill a little hole somewhere, or maybe I'll just make this a little bit bigger so that it can suck in the air as a replacement for the water and that I'm sucking out, if that makes sense. But apart from that, it works really well. I thought about sealing it up, I thought about putting some Sikaflex around it, but actually I shouldn't really do that, I think, because then the problem with the pressure is going to be even worse. So I think I'll just leave it as it is for now. So guys, this is basically it for the water system. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up maybe. If you learned something, that's great, you know, maybe you have some better ideas. Maybe you have some ideas how I can give it an air hose, but that doesn't really let water out too much when I'm carrying the thing around. Anyway, if you have more ideas or if you have any questions about anything that I used, leave it in the comments. I would be super happy to read all of your comments. Alright, enough rambling from me. See you in the next one.